Hey gang, checking in on day 10. Just about to go for a little cool down walk. I just got my pull workout this morning. Did deads, chin ups, different types of rows, and then some bicep work. And then just had breakfast, had my leftover ribeye with some egg whites, some fat-free cheese, and some mushrooms. So basically, my breakfast scramble that I've been making, but just substitute the whole eggs and the turkey sausage for my leftover ribeye. So yeah, it's going well. Day 10. This last week was tough because of basically stress at work, but honestly, like diet wise, things have just been going just fine. Feeling a little flat in the gym, and I don't know if I've just been restless at night, but that's the thing is when you're eating at a deficit, and if you're trying to cut weight, especially you're at a pretty significant deficit, don't be surprised if the gym is a little bit more drudgerous than usual. If you think of it like a triangle, at each point you have the best health, the best like physical performance, you have the most optimal for fat loss, and then you have just feeling really good. You're never going to be at each point. Like right now I'm focusing down here at the kind of optimal fat loss, and so the other two, the physical strength or performance and the general feeling awesome, are going to suffer in a bit because I'm out of balance and more towards the aggressive fat loss. Now, as I get to maintenance, I'd like to tick up to the other ways, but that's completely normal, and that's where you kind of have to embrace the suck a little bit. You really have to, a lot of this, it's physical in the fact that you have to figure out what to eat, what works for you, and all that stuff. But a lot of it's mental. A lot of this is psychological. And so you really have to get your head in the game and really figure out your game plan, and then have the tenacity to stick to it, because consistency is really the biggest driver of basically anything that we do. We are the summation of our actions, and we are really the average of our actions over a given amount of time. And so that's really what I want to really starting out, if this is your first time down this path, this is really what you got to focus on, is really focusing on your process, focusing on your habits, your triggers, and coming up with concrete action items that you're going to take to do it. Like, I've stocked up on plenty of low prep foods. Like, I have a meat full of local beef, or a freezer full of local beef that I'm going through. So I cook up, on the weekends, I cook up sous vide a whole roast, and then I eat that. But like, there's stuff from Costco. If you guys saw my story about one day I didn't have any food to prep, prepped meals to eat, so for lunch I was just eating lean shredded beef out of a bag. That was lunch, but it got me helped get me my protein for the day. So really, you guys have to not just make this a lifestyle. For long term, especially going low carb keto, it's not like you get to the race, at the end of the race, you cross the finish line to your goal weight or whatever, and then you get to reward yourself with like an ice cream cake or something like that, right? You do have to make this part of just who you are. But you really have to get your mind wrapped around, like, what are the actions that it's going to take to get me where I want to be? What are the actions that have been holding me up to this point? And what conversely are alternative actions that I can take that'll actually get me to where I want to go. So, getting to a question that I've been getting a lot, like, they've noticed that my macros, because I'm posting my macros at the end of every day in my story, and I'm getting like, well, this day you are higher on your carbs and lower on your fat. This day you are higher on your fat, lower on your carbs. What exactly are you doing? And so if you notice on my chronometer, my macros are set to kind of upper limits. Okay, so my upper limit on calories are set to 1900. Protein I don't upper limit on. That's kind of more of my baseline, is that 200 grams. My carbs are set at 40 and my fat is set at 100. But basically what I'm doing for the year is, and I'll toggle calories as I need to, but to ensure that I'm in a deficit, I want to consume no more than 1900 calories per day, and I want to get at least a bare minimum is 180 grams of protein. Really 200 and above is where I'm sticking to. But as long as I'm meeting those two things, caloric deficit, 1900 calories or under, and significant protein, enough protein, ideally 200 and above. As long as I'm meeting those two things, that's all I'm really concentrating on. The carbs are coming from fibers, veggies. If I could really say four things, it'd be the caloric deficit, 1900 calories or below, 200 grams or more of protein, ideally. 180 is like bare minimum. I will break being in a caloric deficit in lieu of getting enough protein. If I was at 160 grams, I would still eat another 20 grams of protein, even if it put me over my calories for the day. The protein is non-negotiable for me. But anyway, caloric deficit 1900, 200 or more grams of protein, no alcohol, and no carbs, no cheats, no little snacks, no, if we go out to a Mexican restaurant here in town, no tortilla chips, no rice, no beans, no little tastes. If it's somebody's birthday at the office and they bring in donuts or cakes or cookies or whatever, not a single bite, like zero deviation. Really, as far as diet goes, that's my plan, is those four things. I'm also consecutively for this first 75 days, I'm doing the 75 hard thing, Andy Frisella's thing over at First Form, and he has a podcast, he has a book and stuff. You want to check that out. But I'm doing that as a hard reset, basically because that'll carry me through mid-March, right before the baby comes. And so after that, I won't be doing 75 hard anymore, but I do want to keep up those four tenets: caloric deficit, protein, no alcohol, no cheats. That's really my plan for the year. Like I said, I might adjust my overall calories if I need to, but really until I get to, down below 220 or below, I really don't need to change my calories. And that's really it. And then lifting, right now it's 4 to 5 times a week. Once the baby comes, it'll probably be down around 3 times a week. But really, my overall goal for the year is moving an hour a day. And that could be walk, that could be lifting, that could be kettlebells, that could be rowing, it could be battle ropes, it could be boxing, it could be a ruck, it could be a combination of any or all of those things, just basically getting an hour of movement a day. Right now it's a little bit different since I'm doing this whole 75 hard thing, so you do 2 45-minute challenge workouts, one of them is outside. But for the year, really it's an hour a day. And then lastly is journaling. 1-page entry in the journal every day, finishing with a gratitude journal. Gratitude journaling has been really has been shown to be very, very significant on positive psychology and dealing with anxiety, depression, stuff like that. And so I'd still do just kind of a general journal entry, and then I end with 3 points of gratitude. And again, that's an everyday thing. And then I am rereading The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday. I also do that as well. And also, last but not least, meditation. And so that's kind of the do not break the chain thing. At least 5 minutes, ideally closer to 10 or more minutes of meditation is how I start the day. And then I read the day of the Daily Stoic, and then I'll read some of my Bible, or I'll read like an entrepreneurial or leadership book, something like that. And then I journal, do my page journal entry with ending with gratitudes, and then it's off for the races for the day, workout, diet, all that stuff. So I hope that helps explain a little bit about what I'm doing. Just keeping it super simple. Like I said, I do better on keto, but really it comes down to caloric deficit while maintaining enough protein for lean body mass. And so if some people do better on carbs, then higher carbs, lower fat. Okay, I would say that's not ideal for the most of the population. I think we as a society are overloaded on carbs. If you just look at society is fat, sick, diabetic, and could benefit on dropping the carbs and utilizing their own stores of fat and having their body become better fat burners, better at fat oxidation. And another beef that I have with this whole thing about there are no bad foods. There are no bad foods. So we need to stop demonizing carbs and all that stuff. Well, if you've never battled obesity, if you don't have any inflammatory issues, then yeah, that might be true for you. But for a lot of people who are fat, sick, diabetic, and obese, which is a lot of the population, yeah, there are things that are bad foods. There just are. It's just like if you have an alcoholic, you would not tell that person there's no such thing as bad alcohol. That's asinine. Of course there's such things as bad alcohol, especially to an alcoholic that alcoholic has played a very detrimental part of that person's life. Well, food is the same way. And so this whole idea, we need to stop demonizing food. Yeah, that's easy to say if you've never been fat or obese or have dealt with binge eating disorders or, whatever. Really, really easy to say. So it's just one of those things that it seems like we're talking to two different populations. These people who are all, if it fits your macros, aren't dealing with people. They're dealing with like bodybuilders or aspiring, fitness cover models and stuff like that. That's cool. If that's your audience, that's cool. My biggest concern is the pandemic of obesity and diabetes that is set to bankrupt the world, the world, not just the U.S., but the entire global infrastructure because of diabetes-related issues and degenerative chronic inflammatory disorder issues. That's what I care about. That's what I want to buck the trend on. And so I'm going a little bit long. I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to go for my cool down walk. But anyways, that's day 10. Give you guys a little bit of an idea of what I'm doing. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to leave comments. Feel free to send me messages. A lot of you have been going the DM route, and that's perfectly okay. And so, and then, I'll be happy to get back to you as soon as I can. So you guys have a great day. Take care. And I'll talk to you later.